and a very warm welcome to this Facebook Live as we look ahead to the match that is coming up today in the World Cup. It is between Pakistan and West Indies, two dark horses of the tournament, but they have the experience of winning a World Cup in the past. Pakistan have won it once and West Indies have won it twice. But if you look at these two teams now, both are unpredictable, both are mercurial, both have very good batting lineups. But if you compare the two teams, it is really West Indies that a lot of people would think are the favorites going into this match. Now, the road to England for West Indies is they lost to Bangladesh in a Tri-Nation series away from home. They drew the ODI series against England, and I think this is what is going to give West Indies the confidence going into this tournament, knowing that they can match the best in the world. I mean, to be able to draw a series against England when England was scoring 350 plus totals, and for West Indies themselves, it's not that their batting faltered throughout. In fact, they ended up scoring 300 plus totals, 3 of them in that series against England, but all in a losing cause. They beat Bangladesh 2-1 away. For Pakistan, things haven't been going really well. In the last 10 matches, ODI matches that Pakistan have played, they have lost all of them, and in fact, one was rained out, though they lost to England 4-0 away. And this is where you see the difference between the two sides for West Indies and for Pakistan. That Pakistan's batting has been good, but it'll come down to how they bowl against West Indies and whether they can contain the West Indian batsmen. Then they lost to Australia 5-0 and lost to South Africa 3-2 away. So Pakistan going into this tournament haven't had a good run. But this actually sets things up for Pakistan, isn't that? So just when you think that Pakistan are not good enough, just when you think that Pakistan will not go all the way, they will produce a highest of sorts and change things for themselves. The key players then for the two teams, we look at the top players here for the West Indies. It is the veteran Chris Gayle, 286 matches, and my gosh, look at that runs column, 10,000 runs for Chris Gayle at a strike rate of 87. And you know what? Just before the World Cup, he announced that this is going to be his last World Cup. He's going to retire after the World Cup. And he has been in the best ODI form of his life. Against England, he scored 2 centuries, 2 50s. He's unstoppable. And you know, when Chris Gayle gets his eye in, nobody can really do anything to stop him. There is Darren Bravo, more of an elegant, classy batsman. He reminds you of Brian Lara in the way he plays. He's somebody who is very crucial for them to set that anchor for them in the middle overs. Then there is Shai Hope, wicketkeeper batsman who is really, again, somebody who's been doing well. Just played 54 matches and has got 2,247 runs. Shai Hope is the one who scored a century in the warm-up game, which took West Indies to a total of 421, the first ever 400 plus total in a warm-up match in the history of the World Cup. So their batting looks absolutely phenomenal. Now look at their bowlers. Now this is where they could have a slight problem, because what we've seen with West Indies in the last 1 year is that they've not been consistent with their bowling, and also they've not been able to get wickets. They've also been very expensive. Those are some of the areas where they would want to target going into this World Cup. Jason Holder right there at the top with 121 wickets, and also as a captain he commands that kind of respect from everybody in the team. He's dedicated, soon after he was made the captain of limited overs cricket for West Indies, he was promoted to Test cricket as well, to captain the Test side as well. Just shows his commitment and dedication, and also his wicket-taking abilities can be seen here as being the highest wicket taker for West Indies. Then there is Kemar Roach. We know what Kemar Roach can do. Pure pace. He's somebody, not the kind of West Indian bowlers, fast bowlers that we've seen in the past, but Kemar Roach can do the job on any given day. There is Ashley Nurse with 49 wickets. Now, Ashley Nurse, his inclusion was a bit of a controversy, because they were thinking of if Sunil Narine could have come in or Devendra Bishu, but Ashley Nurse is their only spinner in the squad, and that probably is one of their biggest concerns. Now for West Indies and their weaknesses that we think, one of the problems for West Indies is that lack of potent spinner, as I've been saying. Ashley Nurse comes in, but how much can he do? They don't have a wrist spinner. Every team in this World Cup has a wrist spinner, a wicket-taking wrist spinner, but for Ashley Nurse, you don't know how good would he be in the conditions there. The bowlers have leaked runs, as we've been saying. They have the worst economy rate, or second worst economy rate of all the teams in the World Cup in the last 1 year. They've conceded more than a run and over in the last 1 year. So that is one of their concerns. So bowlers and the consistency is what they would want to improve on going into the World Cup. Then there is lack of experience in the pace attack. Yes, you have a Kemar Roach who's played 85 matches, but the others, the likes of Shannon Gabriel, O'Shane Thomas, these guys would have are not as experienced, and that how that impacts the game is something that we'll have to wait and watch out for. But those are the weaknesses for the Windies. The strengths now for the West Indians, and I don't think there is any confusion about that. The presence of big hitters. I mean, this team has the world's most sought after T20 players in it, isn't that? So the top 7 of West Indies batting, they are in incredible form. You start with Chris Gayle, who's in the form of his life, as I've been saying. Hope, who's been doing well. Shimron Hetmyer, who had a brilliant Caribbean League, batted well for them, and these guys on any given day can be absolutely lethal. We've not mentioned Andre Russell, but I'd just like to mention his name here. Andre Russell, who has had a brilliant IPL, 541 runs at a strike rate of over 200. There were bowlers who were absolutely scared of bowling to Andre Russell in the death overs because he was just tonking you out of the park. There was no way that teams were able, or oppositions were able, to stop him. So Andre Russell is going to be that X factor for the West Indies. One of the things for West Indies would be about their batting. So if they do not have the kind of bowling that you see with some of the other teams in this World Cup, it'll come down to their batsmen scoring those extra runs, to make sure that even if their bowling ends up leaking some runs towards the end, these guys cover it up, and they have the ability to do so. 4 300 plus totals in the last 10 ODIs. So like I said, that this team is again a team that may not be as consistent, but they have the ability to score runs and score them well. Now for the Pakistan strengths, let's take a look at what their strengths are. Top order in superb form, and that has been one of the things that they will bank on. Imam ul Haq, Babar Azam, Fakhar Zaman, all 3 of them have been in good form. They've been scoring runs. They scored runs against England, and a lot would depend on how they bat. There is some talk about the strike rate, which we'll talk about in our next slide. But the other important point for them is Shadab Khan, and that he's back to fitness. Remember, when Pakistan were playing England, Shadab Khan was injured, so they did not have their top spinner in their attack. So that is going to be one huge difference. And if Pakistan want to have a good tournament, they want to do well, then Shadab Khan is one person who needs to do well with the ball as well. The presence of all-rounders, and which is something again which is a part of this side, bits and pieces cricketers, but in this case they do have these all-rounders and the experience that these all-rounders have. The likes of Mohammad Hafiz, the likes of Shoaib Malik, these guys have the experience, and then Imad Wasim, who's been actually doing well in the recent times. You expect these guys to do well for their team. The weaknesses now, let's take a look at that. Wahab Riaz's lack of match practice. Again, for the Pakistan team, one of the things that is similar about Pakistan and West Indies is this, that inconsistency that you find in their bowling, something that you're not used to seeing from these two teams in the past. I mean, West Indies always came in with an absolutely brilliant pace attack. Pakistan, the same thing. You've always wondered as to how Pakistan end up producing the kind of pace bowlers that they have done in the past. But going into this tournament, this is their concern. Wahab Riaz gets called in. He's not played a single match since the Champions Trophy in 2017. What is he expected to do? One of the good things is that he can reverse the ball, and his ball was reversing in the warm-up game they played against Afghanistan. It's a different thing that they ended up losing that game. But Wahab Riaz's lack of match practice is one of the concerns. Then there is Mohammad Amir. People are talking about how he's your pace spearhead. He's come back. You know, he was down with chicken pox. He did not play the series against England, but he's back. You look at his stats and you realize that he's only taken 3 ODI wickets in the last 12 months. Can he come up and improve his bowling to that level where he can be a wicket-taking bowler? That's the other thing. And then, of course, there is poor fielding with Pakistan, which has always been a factor that's been associated with them. They'll have to raise their standards. Now, I know that there'll be, there'll be some optimists, there'll be some fans who think that Pakistan will make it all the way. But even for Pakistan to qualify for the semi-finals, their fielding standards would have to be much better than what we've seen in the recent past in the series that they've played against England. So those are Pakistan's weaknesses. Now, let's take a look at the key players for Pakistan. It is Shoaib Malik. He is their most experienced player in the squad, 7,526 runs. He is not part of the squad or not part of the playing 11 today. Pakistan announced their 12 players overnight, and so he did not make it to the squad, but he is their experienced player. At any time they want to go in and bank on his experience, he is available. There is Mohammad Hafiz as well, who's who's going to provide them that option of an all-rounder in this match. And in fact, I think it will come down to a choice between Hafiz and Imad Wasim for that all-round option in the playing 11 today. When we go through the playing 11, I'll take you through that and I'll talk about it. Then there is Babar Azam, who's been playing well. Again, a very classy batsman. He gives that kind of character to the Pakistan squad when you see Babar Azam batting. Okay, the bowlers then for them, Shoaib Malik is there with 157 wickets. There's Mohammad Hafiz. Now, of course, this is because of the number of matches that they've played. Shoaib Malik has played for 3 World Cups or 3 World Cups since coming into this one. Then there is Mohammad Hafiz and Hassan Ali. But again, for Pakistan, I think one of the problems would be how they play how their bowlers bowl today. Okay, then the playing 11 for the West Indies, it is Chris Gayle and Evan Lewis right at the top. There was some controversy around Evan Lewis and why he was selected, but again, the selectors saying that Chris Gayle and Evan Lewis form a good partnership and that he should be batting with him. There is Shai Hope, absolutely perfect number 3 for them. There is Shimron Hetmeyer, young, raring to go, a free-flowing batsman. He'll be exciting to watch. There is Darren Bravo, as I said, a classical batsman. Jason Holder, the captain. And then the list goes on. Andre Russell. I mean, again, with the West Indies team, just imagine this. Just imagine this scenario that if your Chris Gayle or Shai Hope end up scoring a good score, end up getting a good total, what people like Andre Russell at the bottom can do, or even for that matter Shimron Hetmeyer. So if your top 3 can get you a solid start, there is every reason for you to expect that if there is a team that ends up getting to the first 500 ever in the history of ODIs, it probably would be England or West Indies, just because of the kind of impact these guys have and the kind of power hitters that this team has. There's Ashley Nurse, again the weak link here for West Indies. Kemar Roach, Sheldon Cottrell comes in only because he's your left arm seamer and he can create those angles against the right-handers. So Cottrell would probably get a look ahead. because the choice was really about who the bowlers would be. Batsmen pretty much choose themselves. Then there is O'Shane Thomas in the squad. Pakistan playing 11, Imam ul Haq right at the top with Fakhar Zaman. Now there's a lot of talk about the strike rate and how Pakistan's batsmen, despite having scored 300 plus totals against England, ended up losing the matches that they did. One of the reasons has been the strike rate at which their top three have scored the runs. But Sarfaraz on the eve of this was asked this question, and he very directly said that it is how we play the game and it's not about strike rate. Even if we went in with a lower strike rate, it wasn't, the difference wasn't a lot, and that Pakistan actually believe in accumulating the runs and then going big towards the latter half of their innings, unlike West Indies in this tournament and in this match. And probably that will be the difference you will see in these two teams. There is Haris Sohail, who's going to come in at number 4 in all probability, Sarfaraz Ahmed. There is going to be a toss-up between Mohammad Hafiz, his experience, and Imad Wasim's form. There is Asif Ali. Again, the thing that would bind this team together in a big way is the story with Asif Ali, just come back after the death of his daughter. Probably that's going to create that spirit that they'd want to do it for him. He's, showing that duty is what is required at this time, and he's come back after that. And so I think that is going to be another factor here as this team comes in, that would give them that spirit of wanting to go and do it for Asif Ali and his daughter. There is Shadab Khan again, the wrist spinner for them, Mohammad Amir, Hassan Ali and Wahab Riaz. So this is Pakistan's playing 11 for us, and the match coming up today between West Indies and Pakistan. Hopefully you enjoyed this presentation. I know you all have been writing in to us, and there are a lot of people saying Pakistan probably will win. Now this is one of the things that we see with Pakistan and West Indies, is that they're unpredictable. They can, at any given point, turn the match around completely. We've seen that very often with these two teams, and expect nothing short of a thriller today as they take on each other. Hope you enjoyed this presentation, and come back to us. News18.com is where we're at, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and Facebook, and we'll get you all the latest from the World Cup over the next 45 days. For now, goodbye. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your cricket.